Running a home service business is hard. So how is it that some people make it look so easy? Well, we'll tell you. This is the Freedom Blueprint Podcast. It's always good to hear the wins that successful contractors have. But have you ever thought that the best advice would be to hear about the speed bumps they encountered, the mistakes they've made along the way? We're going to talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly. We want you to be successful and avoid the mistakes others have made. Let's get this party started. Welcome to the Freedom Blueprint Podcast. Now your host, Justin Deese.
Welcome back to another episode of Freedom Blueprint Podcast. I'm your host, Justin Deese, and I am hanging out today with a friend that I've known. It has been over 10 years now. Can you believe that?
Yeah, 10 years. I was just thinking about that this morning.
Where does the time go? With my friend, Angie Snow. Angie, thanks for coming and hanging out.
Thanks for having me. So fun to spend this time together and excited to have a chat with you today.
Yeah. So what I wanted to do today is I wanted to kind of give everybody a little bit of the journey, really, of Angie and really Angie and Ryan and what that all looked like. Because I think a lot of times people get on social media and they go, oh, it's Angie. Like, this is Angie. This is Angie today. But Angie didn't just pop up and just be like, oh, I'm the Angie of today. There's a process and there's a story behind it. So I really just wanted the audience to kind of get to know you a little bit better. I really wish we could have got Ryan on here next time. We're going to get Ryan on here as well. Yeah. But yeah, so before we get into the backstory, what does it look like today for Angie?
What is today? That is a good question. Today is a hustle and bustle of ServiceTitan meetings. It's a hustle and bustle of a few coaching calls with a few clients that I've got, and it's a lot of volleyball. If I can be completely transparent, I'm coaching my daughter's high school volleyball team. I'm an assistant coach for the sophomore team, and so that's a lot of fun. But I also have a daughter in college playing volleyball, and it's her senior year. So right now I'm trying to squeeze in a lot of volleyball. And still try to keep up with everything going on the trades. We've got some exciting times in the trades right now. So that's a lot of fun.
We do. And if you think about the trades today, can you even imagine, let's say 10 years ago, thinking about the technology and where it's going? And isn't that nuts?
It is so nuts. I know. We well, I'm sure we'll get into it, but we're just coming back from Pantheon and geez, the future and technology and where we're going in the trades, it is crazy and there's so much going on and it's so exciting. It's so exciting.
It is. It is very, very exciting. But before we get into that part of it, let's tell us a little bit about how did you even get in this crazy industry? Because it's crazy.
It is a crazy industry and it's a beautiful industry. It's such a cool industry because of the opportunity. I don't think I could have ever imagined so much opportunity in the trades, in HVAC, in plumbing. Like, the opportunity is huge. I joined the trades in 2007 with my husband. He was at that time, 10 years into his career in HVAC. He asked me if I'd like to buy a business with him. And at the time, I was a mom of 3 little kids. I had been teaching school, which I loved teaching school. That was my background. I was a second grade teacher for lots of years. And when he asked me to jump in the trades, for me, that was an opportunity to stay at home with my kids. And all I needed to do was answer the phone and help them with invoices. That was simple. So that was what I was going to do. I could do this from my house. And what I realized was there's a lot more to running a business than just answering a phone and putting invoices together. And so as I started learning the business, training from the previous owners, but also getting into best practice groups like Service Nation Alliance, I started to discover this whole new world of running and operating a home service business. And it was exciting. And the potential there was like we had just not even tapped the surface of what was possible. Because I didn't have any formal training in running a business, I was learning everything from accounting to marketing to customer service to sales, operations, recording SOPs. What did that even look like? And so for me, it was a whole new world to explore and learn and develop, which is actually where I met you, Justin, when we were at I think it was one of our first conferences that you had done with Blue Collar and with Kenny there. We were learning a lot from you guys. So it was a fun way to meet you and learn and grow the business. That's really how I entered. It was by mistake. I didn't know what I was getting into.
Ryan said, I got a great idea. You're like, I don't know.
I'm like,
You should have negotiated summers off. That's
we're still trying to figure out how to get summers off, Justin. So if you've got any secrets for us, let us know.
not another industry, that's for sure.
Another industry. Yeah, for sure.
So you guys bought an existing business. About like how many people were on that involved in that business when you bought it?
It was just my husband and myself, and we had 4 technicians at the time. So we had 4 vans, 4 technicians. We were running it out of our rental house in Provo, Utah, just close. We were trying to figure things out. We had been in California. My husband had been running a larger company for service experts and Lennox. They'd hired him to be a general manager, and he'd done a great job with this company out there. But really his goal was to run his own business and to own his own business. And so we were so excited to come back out. We couldn't sell the house in California, so we're renting here in Utah and trying to make it work. The cool thing about that was with 4 technicians and just he and I, we really had to learn how to work together in a new capacity. I was really trying to learn and understand the industry that he had all the background in. And as a female, it felt weird. It felt weird being a woman in this industry. We would go to industry trainings and events together. He'd bring me, and I felt very out of place a lot of time. And maybe Kristen can relate to this a little bit, but sometimes I was the only woman in the room, and I would just feel like, do I even belong here? Is this even an industry for women? But as I started to learn and grow, that is when I was able to take the things that I was learning and take them back to my team and start implementing. And as we did that, we started seeing a vision for where we wanted to go as a company. No longer were we just husband and wife team with 4 technicians. We needed to build a sales department. We needed to build a customer service department. We needed to split our 4 technicians into teams, install teams, service teams, maintenance teams. And as that continued to evolve and develop, and we were very intentional about the path, we made a ton of mistakes. We did things wrong. We hired the wrong people. We had employees take advantage of us. We lost money. We made poor decisions in marketing. We made almost, I think, every single mistake you can make in a business like this. But really, that's how you grow in a business, is making mistakes, which is why it's so nice to have other mentors and partners and people who've done it before that you can learn from, so you don't have to make the same mistakes, and you can learn from what they've done and start implementing it and applying those things to your own business. So
I don't know, and I'm going to say this and somebody's going to call me out on it. That's fine. I can't think of anybody who started a business in the home service space and didn't have a setback. Like, I don't even know how it's possible. There's too many moving parts. So many moving parts. And, from hiring people to managing them and tracking them and where do they go and where's my money? And like, there's so many parts that unfortunately, I know for a lot of us, you just had to learn by how bad did it hurt? Did it hurt bad enough to like go, oh, I need a policy or I need to do something to make that a little bit different?
I know one of our favorite phrases as we were building our business was, well, that was an expensive education. You probably said that as well. Well, that was a really expensive way to learn that lesson. So
yeah. Well, and then you kind of turn that corner too, where you go, okay, well, I don't want to learn that again. Like, I've learned it once, I'm good. So now you start kind of slowly designing your business around avoiding those kind of things. So let me ask you this: when did you guys? Because obviously, what happens in the scenario we're talking about is you end up kind of starting to shift a little bit from, you're being dominated by the business and it's all the time. And obviously we have so much in common with the, business partner being your spouse, having small children, trying to balance that, which is not easy to do.
Oh,
But
right.
what point did you guys kind of go, okay, we feel like we have a better handle on this? Was there ever, like, was it a thing, like a thing that happened, or was it just
Yeah.
something where you went, okay, I feel like we got a better handle on this?
There were a couple of different things I think that made a difference that helped us get a handle. I think the first one was when we joined Service Nation Alliance. Now we were working with other contractors. We had some, at the time, I think we were maybe $1-2 million a year in revenue. And, we'd see these other contractors that were doing 3 million, 5 million, 10 million. And we were like, whoa, that's possible? Like, okay, how do we get to that? Like, that sounds cool. And so then you start learning and seeing what some of these contractors are doing. And then one thing we were really good at was we would take those back and we would implement them. It's about a lot of action, taking action and doing the things that you see other successful contractors doing. So that was one thing. Another thing is we started hiring coaches. When we saw a gap in our business, we would find an expert in the field that could guide us through that, help us navigate that. We got at a point where our financials were all a mess and we had not been tracking it the way that we realized we needed to be. So then we got some help with that. We needed help with marketing. As we were growing our business, online marketing became a thing. When we bought
Yeah.
the business, we just had to have our name in a phone book.
Mm-hmm.
That, and you've seen how marketing has shifted, and now there are so many places and so many ways that you can market. And there's a strategy behind that. So just lots of as online marketing became a thing, we became very heavily invested. I hired a coach to help us get the website right, to help us get reviews, to help us. We had some really big competitors, but at one point we had more reviews than any of our competitors. I think we tried to always be at the forefront of innovation as things changed in our industry and as things started to develop. And I really think that so between finding other contractors to network with, finding coaches, and then being on the front of innovation, those were really the big keys to helping us start making changes and start shifting and start turning heads. People started to notice what we were doing and they'd ask us to come share, whether it was leading coaching groups, advisory board groups, women's groups, speaking on stages and sharing some of the successes that we were having. I think those are the things that we did to help us get to that point where other contractors were now looking at us and coming to us for advice. So
Isn't that
I
a
don't know
neat
if you can
feeling? You're like,
relate to
wait,
any
is
of
that
those
right?
things.
You're like, wait, you're asking me, is that right?
I know. I'm like, oh, you want to know what we're doing?
I,
So yeah, those are
I'll second that. So I think for us, a big pivotal point in our business journey was really knowing that there was other people out there, not feeling
yeah.
like, because for so many years before you find those groups, you feel like kind of like these people on an island, and you're like on this island, you're like, is there anybody else? Like, here's the white flag, here's the message in the bottle. And then you get around these people, and it's amazing what happens from a mind shift perspective. Just like you said, you're like, okay, we're doing $1 million. We didn't even know we could do 5. Who does $5 million? And then you start talking to these people and you go, oh, what these little tweaks
Mm-hmm.
change my business. And then you make those couple of tweaks, you go, oh, look, now I'm 3 million. Holy cow. So
Mm-hmm.
I definitely second that as far as everything you said, but definitely one of the biggest pivotal points for us was just getting in front of the room, getting in front of a group of other people that were in similar businesses and learning and sharing.
Yeah. And I feel like we are in such a special industry that is so open to sharing. We are
Yes.
we are so lucky to have so many people that are willing to open their doors, come tour my shop, come look at how we're doing
Mm-hmm.
things, because I think there's something to learn from every single person. We just had a group of contractors from Australia come and visit our shop right before Pantheon. They came and it was awesome because they were coming up for Pantheon, and so it was fun to open our doors and share our story. And some of these are huge shops, like 5 times the size of my shop, but they were taking away things from us that they could go back and implement in their marketing and in some of their operations. And it's crazy. You can learn something from everybody. So never think you're too big to learn something from someone else.
Well,
It's
another thing you brought up too about going to events is something that you and Ryan did a really good job of. That a lot of people think they go, oh, "What's the silver bullet?" Like I need this silver bullet thing, and I talk about this quite a bit on the podcast. But the silver bullet is implementation. You have to take the information that you're learning and do something with it. So that was a really good point you shared.
absolutely. I don't think we're at a shortage of information in this industry. I think
No,
there
especially
are
now
so
with YouTube and Chat GTP. Yeah,
exactly best practices everywhere, but there's a shortage of action and implementation and people
hmm
actually taking those things and putting them into play. Or and sometimes it's like I'm afraid to do it, or I don't have the right people, or I don't know how. But there are solutions for all of those things. Go learn it, hire someone to do it, delegate that. There are definitely opportunities to get help there. So
agreed. So
yeah.
now you guys sold a couple years ago. Actually, it's probably been 4, 5 years
About
ago.
4 years ago, yes, 4 years ago we did. We got to a place where I had been recruited by ServiceTitan in 2020, and prior to that, I was already kind of looking at opportunities to help and coach. As people were coming to me uh, for ideas and help in their business, I was able to kind of put my teacher hat back on, and I loved that.
hmm
I loved jumping back into that teacher seat and realizing that I could help and teach and guide a lot of people. And so we created Snow Business Coaching and started teaching CSRs. I did a lot of CSR coaching, coaching other business leaders who were on the same road as us, but maybe just further behind. I like to think of it, we're all on a highway, right? Some people are ahead of us, some are behind us, but there's always people that we can help get to where we are, and always people ahead of us that can help us get to that next level. So it was just really fun to think of how can we help more contractors. And so I was already looking for a way to do that. And so when ServiceTitan reached out to me to kind of help with some of those kind of same principles and practices at ServiceTitan to help more contractors, I was super excited and grateful to have a platform where I could come and help more contractors find success, because I knew how it had blessed my life. And so I was looking for another way to keep paying that forward. It was awesome, and it really did kind of lead to the path of us getting ready to sell the business. We'd known we wanted to exit at some point, but my husband was like, "You go to ServiceTitan. I'm happy at Western. I'm going to keep running this business. I love it." Um, but you saw there was a point where those multiples on selling a business were quite appealing, and it was kind of an exciting thing to explore for us. So it was not something we were looking to do right away, but when the opportunity was there, then we dove into that.
I mean, the best time to sell your business, the absolute best time to sell your business is when it's not for sale.
Right?
It's always the best time.
I love that.
We
I hadn't
we've
thought about that, but that's a really good point.
we have been so blessed. We have, we've sold 3 businesses and they have not been for sale when we've sold them. And
Mhm, mhm.
it's a different, unique way to go about it than it is when you're like, oh my gosh, I got to get rid of this thing now, which also that's a whole different rabbit hole we won't go down, but plan and preparation, right? Like you've got to plan, you've got to build your business to exit, because everybody exits at some
Yeah.
point.
And sometimes I don't think we're sure how that exit's going to be. Like you said, it wasn't something we'd really planned on doing, but we knew from years before we wanted to build a business that would be worth something, that would have a
hmm
strong value when it was ready to sell. So a lot of decisions that we were making, we were kind of preparing it without even really having that as like a timeline on that. A part of that was our branding, adjusting our brand, giving it a fresh look and making it look really fresh and futuristic and bright versus the old branding that we bought the company with and we just stuck with it. Ryan and I kind of had some debates there. I don't know if you and Kristen have ever had debates over branding and what that
Never.
should look like. Okay, good. There's, but we had these cute little caricatures. Oh, I've got a cup here. It's like our little cowboy and cowgirl, the Ryan and Angie cowboy and cowgirl that came with our old logo in Western. And that was my baby. I built that. I was so proud of it. And Ryan said, well, if we ever do pass this business along, Ryan and Angie doesn't go with it. We need to change the brand that doesn't have the little cartoon characters. It's got to have, its own fresh look so that any owner can take it and keep building with it. So lots of little kind of tweaks that we made along the way to prepare for selling, not having an end goal or end date to do that.
So you guys sold the business, and then
did.
you stepped into really a coaching consulting role. I mean, you've done it in a couple of different areas. Still with ServiceTitan today, correct?
Yes. Yep. Still with ServiceTitan.
So what does it look like now post sell? And it's obviously been a couple of years for both you and Ryan both.
So Ryan is still at Western. He's a general manager. That was part of the deal. Like I said, he was not ready to exit the business. He's having a lot of fun. He lives for this stuff. He loves building businesses and doing that through building people and systems. And for him, it's a big project, and he loves it. He loves the day-to-day of it. I mean, he doesn't love the stress that comes with it, but that's just part of the job. And so for a while, though, it was hard for me to really separate. And I stayed on at Western, helping with marketing just a little bit, especially as we were going through some transitions, helping with the call center a little bit, but really spending most of my time at ServiceTitan. When I joined ServiceTitan, we were getting a lot of smaller contractors purchasing ServiceTitan because they saw the potential, but they didn't really have the best practices to back up what they were doing and really build the tool. And so I was able to kind of help build some of those best practices from a lot of things that I'd learned over the years. I moved into a training role. I was a director of the customer product training team for a little bit. But in that role, because I love training, I was able to really work and build a strong training team, but I wasn't as face to face with contractors as I had been in the past. So I was able to find a new position as an industry advisor where I really could be face to face with contractors, and I get to do the training again. I still help and support a lot of our teams at ServiceTitan, our product team, our marketing team, but I'm doing it now in a way where I get to do more webinars, more teaching, more training, speaking at Pantheon, hosting Toolbox live events around the country, and really just representing ServiceTitan in a way that supports the contractor, supports businesses, helps them grow, helps with mindset, uh, foremost, but then using the tools of like ServiceTitan to help you get to where you want to get in your business. So it's been a really fun adventure, a fun fit. I've got to meet so many amazing contractors around the country and get a peek into their shop and into their business. And it's just as much as I love my own business and my own company, I'm just learning to uh, love so many other businesses, and it's so exciting for me to see them grow just as much as it was to see my own business grow.
Well, and you're getting to make an impact on so many businesses, which is then making an impact on so many employees, and it just has a really cool ripple effect. I had Ara on the podcast a little bit ago, and that was part of what we were talking about was, the amount of people that they have absolutely changed their lives is unbelievable. And I'm there. Like, when I started the company, the first thing I did was got on ServiceTitan, and they were a very young. I mean, Ara was our onboarding person. He was our salesperson, our onboarding person. But man, the information that's in there once you kind of get the Rubik's Cube where you need it is unbelievable.
Yeah, I know that was.
So yeah,
that was why we had to switch to ServiceTitan. I was paying someone on the back end just to pull reports and give me numbers, and it was just I was really struggling. And when I finally decided to invest in ServiceTitan, I guess that was really another point in our company revenue wise where we saw a big jump because we had the data and we had the numbers. So yeah, it was pivotal in my own business growth as well. And I'm really glad that you've had Ara on the podcast. It is so awesome to work under a leader like Ara, who his heart is for the trades. It truly, truly is just for the contractor, knowing his background and how his parents grew up growing and building a home service company, and how he's been able to work with Vahe to build this software, and now our whole team to build a software that supports that and to be on the cusp of that. He still sends us emails probably once or twice a week of customers who reach out to him and say, "Hey, Ara, thank you so much. Because of this, you've changed my life this way or this way." And he shares that with all of his employees because he wants us to know the impact that we're making at ServiceTitan as a team. And it is really what drives us to keep pushing hard.
Yeah, he is definitely a frontline CEO, and it's
Mhm.
amazing that he's been able to keep that even with the growth and even with being publicly traded now. And
Yeah.
it's pretty. I mean, I when I text him about the podcast, I was like, I don't know, maybe I'll hear back from him. Maybe I'll. And within minutes, he was like, let's do this. I'm so excited. So,
Yeah.
um,
He
he
really is.
definitely, from a leadership standpoint, the guy is just on point.
He is. He really is. I know the day that we did do the IPO, I was fortunate enough to get invited to New York. It was something I never could have imagined ever being part of. Uh, but I remember we were doing a few social media videos in the NASDAQ tower, and they'd invited me to come down. There were just a couple of us. And I had just a moment with Ara and Vahe, and I looked at both of them and I just said, like, thank you so much for inviting me to this. I felt like I'm just this little contractor from Utah that works for you now. But like, this is huge for me. So thank you for inviting me here. And they were like, this is part of your journey. Like, you are just as big a part of this as any, like, this is not just us. This is you. Like, they were very, very humble in putting that back on me, putting that back on customers, putting that back on so many people who have helped build ServiceTitan. He's like, this is a success for everybody. This is not just us. Very, very humble and a moment I'll never forget for sure.
That is a perfect example of servant leadership.
Hmm.
Like, I don't even know how you get. That's just servant leadership. Like, it's
Yeah,
amazing.
it really is.
So now you're doing a ton of stuff with ServiceTitan. Tell us a little bit about the coaching side of things
Yeah, so
and
it's
all your free time.
all my free time when I'm not at volleyball or, you know, I have just this love, like I told you, for teaching and coaching. And as part of Service Titan, we built a CSR dispatcher community. And so once a month, actually the third Thursday of every month, I get on and do a lunch and learn for CSRs and dispatchers because I feel like they are the ones using the office side of Service Titan the most, besides owners, operators, managers. These call center agents, they are the first hand person of the company. They're the first impression, the first one that answers the phone. They are representing your company. And a lot of times they're the last ones that get the training.
Yep,
You know,
absolutely.
in most cases, they're the least paid person on payroll.
Hmm.
People think they can just find a cheap CSR, bring them in, and put them on the phone, which is, you know, unfortunately, it is a lot of times what happens. But because of that, you see more turnover for CSRs and dispatchers. You see more turnover in that position than probably any other position because of that. And a big part of that is because you're not paying them enough and you're not giving them the training. You're not showing them a career path for them. And so you are going to have a lot of turnover in that position. And so I wanted to, with some of the CSR training I've done in the past, and have that being a big part of how we grew at Western as an owner, I knew how much money I was spending on marketing, and then not knowing if my CSRs are taking care of those customers when the phone is finally ringing, if they're taking care of them or not. That was something before service time. I didn't have access to call recordings. I didn't have KPIs on that. I was just hoping they were doing a good job. And so to be able to have the tools now to review the calls, to see booking rates, to be able to coach from those and create coaching experiences, that's huge. So to create a CSR dispatcher community, to be able to give free training once a month, I've been building some CSR training videos for Service Titan. It's on their YouTube. So if companies are like, my CSRs need training, we've got a lot of free resources for you on the Service Titan channel. It's just something that I feel like I can do to contribute in my role at Service Titan to help these CSRs. But then I also have companies reach out to me and say, Angie, like, thank you for these resources. These are fabulous. How do I get you to work with my team one on one? Can you come work with our team one on one? And so I've been able to carve out a little bit of time in my schedule to take on a couple of clients and help their teams one on one. And it's been really, really fun to um, come behind the doors, come behind the curtains of these companies and take these awesome CSRs that have so much untapped potential and just give them a few tools, a few tips, a few things that they can do to turn the calls around, to help them stay in control of the call, to help them increase their confidence, and to really represent their company with pride, demonstrating value, overcoming objections, all of those things that as business owners we want our CSRs to do, but it doesn't come natural. It takes some time
Right.
and training and a lot of practice.
Well, I'll say in the couple businesses that we've owned, we've used your training on both of them, and we've seen great success with it. And you have a really, really, really amazing ability to connect with the CSRs in a way that a lot of other trainers can't. So as a trainer speaking to a trainer, you are fabulous, an amazing trainer, and thank you for what it is that you do.
Thank you. Thank you. I think it's easy when you love what you do. I
That's a
think the
fact.
passion comes through. I think it's when I see myself sitting there trying to answer calls and not knowing questions that I mean, that was me 20 years ago when we bought our business and trying to figure it out. It's not a fun spot to be in. It's uncomfortable. Being a CSR can be really uncomfortable sometimes. And there's a lot going on. And so if we can empower our CSRs and give them help and training, let's do it.
That's great. So listen, I know you got a ton to do. You got volleyball practice. You've got one of your two jobs. I know you got so much to do, but I want to ask you this: any piece of advice you have for anybody listening, really that want to get to the next level? What's a piece of advice you would share?
I would say stay on the edge of innovation, whether that's if you are a ServiceTitan user, even coming to Pantheon last week, I know that we talked a lot about AI. And
Yeah.
I think a lot of people might be a little bit nervous about AI and what it's doing. But Justin, do you use ChatGPT?
I use AI every single day and have for
Okay.
multiple years.
I think at first we were like, what is this? And now we're like, how do you survive a day without
Right.
ChatGPT or some of those other AI things? And I think our businesses are going to be like that very soon as well. What once we trusted a dispatcher to do to choose the right technician for the right job, um, AI can do it so much faster and so much more accurate based on location, based on technician performance, some of those things. So why not use an AI tool that can do that? Um, Same with voice agents. Voice agents, I think, are kind of scary. I think you're going to see a lot more coming down the pipeline with voice agents. Um, there will be they will be a great support tool. They will never replace CSRs. They're going to be a great support tool for CSRs. So um, I think just as business owners, don't be afraid of AI. Start looking at it and start learning what other companies are doing and find ways to incorporate it in our business because I think it's going to help us. Where trades used to be maybe once the industry that was a little behind in technology, I think shortly we're going to be the trade that is even further ahead because of some of the innovations that are coming down the pipeline. Super,
I
super, super exciting.
I 100% agree. AI it should be a tool in your toolbox. Obviously, don't
Mhm.
use it as the end product. Don't ever
No.
just put something out there from it, but use it as a tool. That's really what it is. And for CSRs and dispatchers, it is again a tool.
Yeah.
So I agree with you. It's not going to replace that human connection. Maybe it will in 10, 50, I don't know, but not in
Mhm.
the near future. That is not going to replace anything. It's going to allow the people on the team to be able to do more, I'm going to say revenue generating responsibilities, which also means higher pay.
It does. It
You know,
absolutely does. It that the AI is going to take over the jobs that aren't getting paid as much. You're not going
yeah.
to see a need for those. So yeah. So speaking of AI, I have a couple of business partners, Michelle Myers and Erica Leonore, with the CSR Academy. We are doing a 2-day event in October 16th and 17th here in Utah, where we're going to be training CSR leaders and really teaching them how to not only incorporate AI into your call center and the do's and don'ts to do that, but we're going to be going over a lot of other things that I think will really empower call center dispatching leaders, owners, managers to help you get the most out of your call center as far as systems, and performance with your team, we're so excited. So if you want more information about that, go to the CSRacademy.com. And you can even use my code FRIEND to get a little savings on that if you'd like to sign up. But we'd love to have you there. It's going to be a great event.
No doubt it's going to be an amazing event. And all of that information I will make sure to put in the show notes. So anybody who wants to get more information on it can check out the show notes and go and hang out with Angie and her team.
Yes.
And let your CSRs learn, man. Let them learn, let them come back. And what does a 5% increase in booking rate mean to a business? I mean, it can be an amazing amount of money. So you're definitely going to see a quick ROI.
Absolutely. Yeah. Thank you, Justin. I appreciate that.
No problem. Well, Angie, thank you so much for coming and hanging out. And we're just now starting the roadshow. So I am sure we will see you here in the next couple of weeks or months.
I can't wait. I always love running into you and Kristen, and I love what you guys are doing. Thank you for the way you support the trades and give back so much to the industry. You guys are such a great asset to our industry. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Angie.
You've been listening to the Freedom Blueprint Podcast. Information is useless if not applied. So take what you've learned and go and implement it. We hope you've enjoyed the show. If you did, make sure to like, rate, and review. We'll be back soon. But in the meantime, find us on social media at Freedom Blueprint for Home Services and hit the website at www.freedomblueprintpodcast.com. See you next time.